Seems no, not as many. Well, there's lots of people here today. So there's still quite a few going on there. So some people, I remember Mike, or no, Floyd Wickman years ago said that if you're going to take time off honestly. In other words, if you're going to take a week off during this time of year, then take it off. Or if you're going to work, but don't think it's a work day, but not work, and then it's holiday. So you know, getting that. So if you're working, you're working. If you're holidays. Don't think you're still working, but you're not working. Does that make any sense to me? Like no, in this real estate market, you haven't got a boss. You haven't got some guy saying that, like, you know, stamping the clock. You haven't got some guy saying like, what are you doing today? Or what's the market? Or you know, you're gonna get fired if you don't put in your 8 hours. Like, it's completely up to you. And you get a nice summer day there, and the kids are home, the wife's home, or your spouse is home, and maybe it's a little harder to get out than it would be normally, right? So you've got to have your business plan all figured out, and that's it. So this is the hard part about this time here. So if you're here working, like you folks here today, you're here working, that's great. And but some people, like, you know, does it make any sense what I'm saying? All right. Some people just take time off, think they're working, right? Remember years ago, one of our agents was coaching for one of the trainers, and she had a client. It was a man client. And she said to the guy, so what are you doing today? His wife's working there. He's at home. He's a real estate agent working. So what'd you do today? Well, you know, I didn't feel motivated. So, you know, watched a couple of movies, you know, washed the car, cut the lawn. And this is supposed to be a coaching call. This is supposed to be like, how many calls did you make? How many people did you contact? What's your business plan? And he's sort of talking like that. And the agent, our agent, who's the coach, said to the person, so does your wife know what you're doing all day? Because she's out there slugging, she's out there, you know, she's out there doing whatever she has to do, traveling, getting to work and coming back, and then she's working her butt off, and there's this fellow here just don't feel, you know, not motivated today, right? So anyway, so she actually fired him as being a client because he wasn't coachable, right? So something to think about anyway. So no open houses. I'm not sure anybody did open houses at home or not. You guys aware of any open houses?
We had 3 couples.
So I noticed in Lindsay, who's that? The Flint? No, Elm sister had one in Lindsay. Okay, good. All right. Did you follow up with them? Is it busy up there or not? Or busy?
Just 3 each day.
Lindsay. Okay, so
2 of them are agent elves, or the Flint sisters are doing one tonight.
this is what I got a notice today from the Flint sisters from Broker Bay saying that they're doing an open house today. So why not? I mean, if when you think about it there, if everybody's taking the weekends off doing stuff with the kids and being busy, why not try one during the week, right? So it's not a bad idea at all.
I'm doing one on Thursday night.
Duran's doing one.
With the ice cream truck.
Oh.
Like 2.3 million. You gotta be busy.
So that's kind of fun. So an ice cream truck open house on a Thursday. So you're trying to attract agents, clients on a Thursday? Why not? I don't know. Give it a try, right? $2 million property
Which area?
in Brooklyn. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So how about advertising? Is everybody advertising? Is everybody running their ads, like the marketplace ads? Anybody running ads trying to find buyers? People doing this? See, just, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, something's happening out there? No. Do you guys think that the market is slowing down, picking up? How do you guys feel?
My friends. That's what I found every day. The last couple of weeks, like a lot of branch. I don't know if that's the September students coming in, but.
I know we typed a whole bunch of offers. I think we probably typed about, I don't know, 12 or 13 offers on Thursday or Friday, quite a bit. And then we'll expect to do that again. Usually it's like Tuesday or something, we do that. But the market's okay, it's cruising along, but that interest rate sort of kicked us a little bit too, right? The interest rates went up again, so we're at 5%. So that kicked us. Just going back to open houses for a bit. When you guys do open houses, you'll notice on Broker Bay that Broker Bay will send you a notification saying that these people are doing open houses this weekend or today. You guys get that from Broker Bay? That's only within the office, right? And that is triggered. I'm not sure where that's triggered.
You have to edit it. It's a good point. Because
Okay.
you have to do one fly. You have to go in and add open house to Broker Bay to get that notification.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not on MLS. You got to go to Broker Bay. So if you're doing open houses, be careful and make sure that you understand how the process works. if you want it to show up on Broker Bay, and meaning that, and that Broker Bay message only goes to us, doesn't go to anybody else. But you've got to go into the Broker Bay format and say, hey, I'm doing an open house, and then it sends a message out to everybody to do an open house. It doesn't pick it up from anywhere else.
So even the girls won't do it automatically unless you let them know to do it, or do it
Right.
yourself?
So if you want the staff to do it for you, just phone them up and say, I'm doing an open house this day, and they'll go to Broker Bay and change it, or you can change it yourself, but make sure it's there. But understand that it only goes to agents within the office, doesn't go outside the office. If you want to go outside the office, you have to get the listing agent. Our staff can't do this. The listing agent has to log into my profile on Toronto MLS, and they have to say an open house on this particular date. Our staff can't do that because they don't have access to your profile. Okay, so if you're gonna be doing open houses, the bigger one is to make sure it goes on realtor.ca. To get on realtor.ca, you have to go to my profile, and then my profile is see open houses. You pick your listing there, and then you say, I'm doing open houses this date or that date, and then it's there and it shows up, and then it'll show up on realtor.ca.
Realms is the same, except for a minor type of-
Realm will be the same. Yep. Okay, where are that? Okay, so let's just talk about numbers first of all. So somebody came to me, Beulah came to me today saying, so we've actually reached over 16,000 active listings. So we've got 16,109 active listings right now. It's broken down into 9,000 freeholds, 7,000 condos. So we haven't seen 16,000 for quite a long time. So that should be a good thing. So if you got buyers out there saying they want to wait for the inventory, or wait for the price to come down, or wait for the interest rates to settle, all those things have happened. So it should be time to keep in contact with the buyers themselves that want to that are sort of held back or want to hold on. It's there. Sales themselves compared to last year, sales are actually up 8%. So we're starting to see month over month increases. 2022 versus 2021 sales were down probably about 40%. So hopefully that bad news is over. Remember in 2022, we had a huge, strong spring, and then all of a sudden they started jacking up the interest rates, and the market's been down ever since then. Last month, we had an increase. I think it was only $7,000, but we had an increase in the average price from June over May. So the average prices are starting to come up a little bit. It's also, the prices themselves are actually coming up from this time last year, and the sales are coming up from this time last year. So the news media is going to start reporting positive things for a change, and we have to take advantage of that and make sure that that's going on. Leases, there's 7,000 active leases. It's funny, we've leased so far this year, sorry, in July, for the first 23 days, we've done 6,200 leases. And we've only had 3,900 sales. There's more leases now than there are sales, so that's interesting too. I leased out my place, just sort of commentary. Remember, I tried to sell my place for a while. We couldn't sell it. Couldn't sell it. Changed because of the pictures. I don't know why. Anyway, so I decided, okay, I'm going to lease it instead, and I leased it within a couple of days. It was leased right away. I leased it for $2,900, and I noticed, and that was what, July 1st. Today's the 23rd. Similar unit, same unit, 11 stories higher than mine. Just went for $3,200.
It did get that? That makes sense for the price.
So in 23 days, my unit's on the 7th floor, which is it's actually the cheapest place in the entire building, that's what I bought. No, it's okay, because I understand. And then the 18th was what's that, like? Yeah, nine. Well, yeah, 11 stories tall.
Did it look?
No, it actually had a view. Mine has a view of a garage, and you can listen to the exhaust fan all day long.
The offices.
So there's a typical example. Okay, so I'm an investor. I don't care. I really don't care. And I bought it for my daughter. One of my daughters was going downtown to finish another one of her courses down there. So I was going to rent something there for $400, $500, but all the stuff down there just looked too gross for me. So I find, let's find the cheapest 1-bedroom in the city of Toronto. And that's what it was. Right. Cheapest 1-bedroom downtown. Parking and locker, yeah. So that's fine. Offers, anybody get involved with multiple offers at all? Like over the last week, no. Okay, so tails in the street here, okay, just so you guys know. You got to understand what's going on as a listing agents. I got two stories. Listing agent's job is different than a buying agent's job. We'll just go back to what we talked about last week a little bit. You guys understand if you're a buying agent, and a lot of times you've been a buyer's agent, and buyers do not want to be pushed. So if you said to a buyer, let's buy this place, and no, and then they show another, let's buy this place. Let's buy if you're like aggressive, buy, then they're going to think that all you're looking for is what, your commission, and you're not really looking after them. It's a little different, right? When you're working with a buyer. But if you have that same attitude, like I'm going to treat the buyer nice, and I'm going to, do these things, I'm not going to push them, I'm going to let them make the decision. That's a good attitude for buyers. But when it comes to sellers don't want a pansy, right? So sellers want an SOB, right? And they want somebody to get the most money for them, and they want to negotiate, they want to be hard, they want to be able to do it. So they're two different hats when you're wearing a listing agent and a buyer's agent, right? And it's okay to be aggressive with the sellers, because that's what they want. So anyways, just a point. So I was talking to somebody today who's a listing agent. And if you guys ever had this as a listing agent, it's a downtown condominium, 1,200 square foot, parking, locker. I don't know, 1 bedroom plus or whatever it is, right? So the it's listed for a multiple offer situation. So is this at 1.1? Multiple offers. So people phone up the agent and say, well, I've got an offer here, it's not right. So it's like it's $1,080,000. Should I present it? What would you say? As a listing agent, somebody says to you, and don't forget your target price is more than this. The price you put out there is strictly a price to generate activity. So as a listing agent, somebody phones you and says, would you take $1,050,000? Would you? As a listing agent? People said yes. And some people say no. Okay. So the agent said, yeah, sure. So as an agent, he says, look, I want all offers. I don't care. I want offers. And then somebody else registered an offer. So else registered an offer. So he had four offers. One was this $1,080,000. One was 1.1 million. One was 1.15. He had 4 offers. Winning offer is 1,450. 1,450,000. So the moral of the story is today that, and the price itself, 1,200 square foot. I'm sorry, it wasn't. How much is it per square foot now resale? It's $1,100, $1,200, right? So it's, I already said it's 1,200 square feet. So the $1,000,001, $1,000,008, the $1,150,000, they're all stupid offers. 1.4 is the right price. But the listing agent's smart, thinking, yes, bring him down, bring it down, bring it down. So now he has 4 offers. You know what I'm getting at? So if you're a listing agent, you're in control. Somebody wants to give you a silly offer, then you want all offers. You're not going to discourage any offer. You want them all. Any offer is a good offer. And in this particular case, no. At the same time, if I'm a buyer and I want to put $1,080,000 on something that we already know is going to be $1,100-$1,200 a square foot, we already know it's going to be more than 1.2. Even at $1,000 a square foot, it's going to be 1.2. What that buyer is doing, if he doesn't understand it, what that buyer is doing, he's jacking the price up. He doesn't even know it. And he's complaining that the prices are going too high, but he's jacking the prices up because he registered to steal the offer, 1.108. And the other guy thought there was 1 offer, 2 offers, 3 offers, 4 offers. So they thought they were all good. That's why I do the 1.4. In fact, they're all. So the 3 offers that came in at $1,080,000, $1,001,000, $1,150,000, they actually jacked up the price to 1.4. So if you have a buyer there, can't we just try? Can't we do? Yeah, you could just try, but what you're doing, you're actually adding to your own problem because you're actually jacking prices up. I don't know, can't save the world, right? Last week I told you about the Toronto Star that advertised a property that sold for $200,000 less than the asking price for that. Sold for $800,000, $1 million property. Don't remember that? Okay, doesn't matter. There's one just sold here that sold for, yeah, this one here. So 800,000 sold for $100,000 less. And they talked about the property, and now they've got one here where the property actually sold for more than asking. So the Toronto Star talking about that. So I thought it was kind of fun how they did the opposite. They're talking about how the property's selling for $100,000 less than what they paid for it, and then the next week they have a property that's sold for $200,000 more than asking. So in the newspapers, you've got things you can argue both cases when it comes down to pricing, but I don't know, the media always goes both sides. Rico, just to remind you, August 19th, you have your $500 insurance bill due. Don't forget, you paid already? I have the complete list. Let's see.
Day when I.
Did you? Okay. So that's $500. That is the best $500 you could ever spend. Insurance. There's emissions insurance, right? Don't forget that. Yeah, this detached bungalow with one bedroom was sold for $1.2 million, $300,000 over asking. So it's almost like you have to have two little files that go with it, right? One that talks about how prices are dropping $200,000 and one how prices are increasing $300,000 in the same paper in the same, almost the same neighborhood. So you kind of use it to your advantage, whatever you're trying to do, right? So if you're trying to reduce the price as a buyer, you wouldn't use one article and leave the other article for the other folks. Yeah, 3,200. Mortgages, we got Grant here. So worry about your mortgage. Here's why Canadians are well positioned to withstand interest rate storms. Has anybody seen the power attorney? I know we talked about last week, power attorney, power sales. We talked last week saying that we had like 28 properties that were going power sale just on listings. Grant, have you noticed that coming around just yet? Have you noticed anybody that are struggling or?
On the private.
Yeah. So Grant said from the private lenders. So the private lenders are saying that they have to do like power sale, or is it the lenders, like the clients themselves that are like, what are they saying to you?
They're not looking for price.
They're not working with the clients. They don't care. They don't care. Okay. Have you seen quite a few of them or?
Most of them are like even the second before or second one people first what they want the product sales. Most of the product sales they are getting it.
So did anybody hear of any clients that that had to go with the private lender to get a good financing, like a second mortgage or first mortgage or something there? And generally those private mortgages are what, 8-9%, and a lot of them are interest only. And a lot of them, the client had no business getting it in the first place. That's why they had to go to the private lender. And now it comes time to renew, and now they're in trouble, right? It's 1 year term to boot, right? So what are they going to do? We see this quite often. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with these types of lenders, not all of them, I use the word predatory, but there are some professional predatory lenders. There are also some mom and pop lenders, right? So I think you're probably talking about the predatory guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Individual lenders.
Right. And these guys they're in the business of making money. So they don't care about little Johnny in his room and kids and life. They don't care, right? So they're just going to take advantage of it. So what this paper here is talking about is that a lot of people, a lot of your clients may have a variable rate mortgage or a fixed mortgage, one or the other. But they're saying that if you hold a mortgage, there's a good chance that you'll see payments rise over the next 3 years. Now, even though they've gone up in the last year, but the next 3 years we're talking about, if you haven't already experienced the bump. So if you've got a variable rate mortgage with fixed payments, you're likely to be looking at a 40% increase when you have to renew your loan. That's what they're saying here. So if you're paying $1,000, you're paying 1,400 or 2,000, whatever that even gets worse, right? If you're in a fixed rate mortgage, you're potentially facing a 20 to 25% increase. So not quite as bad, but still a bit of a chunk, right? So there are some options that your clients have. Does anybody have any clients in this situation? Yeah. Yeah, we talked about yours. We talked about yours last time, right?
Oh, I talked to the sheriff.
I didn't mention your name, that's all. It's all right.
Just want to put it in perspective. Fred, because the sheriff told me that She serves 6 to 9 a month, and she's serving 12 a day. She works 13 hour board places for 9 months.
Wow.
So she's like, I'm exhausted. Like I met with her on a Sunday.
Wow. This is the sheriff.
Yeah.
And the sheriff is actually changing the locks.
Yeah.
And she's doing 12 a day.
12 a day.
But notice, it's
No,
not,
it's
not
not
locked.
evictions, but like the initial.
The first,
This is Georgina, Ford Lakes, and Durham. 9 separate lines. Huh. Not a good time.
so that's good news for us, right?
Yeah.
Right. You got buyers lined up in there. Yeah, I feel sorry for the folks that borrow the money though, and I feel and that the point my point last week wasn't about the sheriff, and my point was about staging. That you got to be very careful with your staging. Don't be paying for staging up front if you don't have to. Have them pay for it and reimburse them if you want to. That was my point, because it'd be nice to have like big staging thing. You get a call from the sheriff saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm changing the locks tomorrow. Come get your stuff." Right.
Several thousand dollars.
Right. And
We had it up for 4 months.
so some of the things you can do, so people can re-amortize their mortgages. So we talked about that before, where some people have a variable rate mortgage and they have a fixed payment on a variable rate mortgage. So the banks have gone ahead and extended the amortization periods to longer than you normally see. Some of them have been up at 65 years. Some even had a 90-year amortization period, so they could keep the payment the same. They had to extend the amortization. So those one things they can do. What the banks will also do, if you've got a client, that sometimes they'll allow you to defer a mortgage payment or 2 or 3 for a short period of time, just to overcome whatever hump you may have going on. Sometimes they'll let you miss a payment or 2, flat out miss, and go from there. And sometimes they'll convert the variable rate mortgage into a fixed rate mortgage if you can afford that. So there's all different things that they can do out there to try to make it happen. The worst thing you can do if you have a client is not communicate with the lender, and not talk it out, and not try to work it out. If you just try to ignore things and letters that your client might get, the registered mail, stuff like that, just throw them in the garbage, not respond to them. Those are the worst things. So if you have a client that's like that and they want somebody to help them, then you can certainly communicate with the bank saying that let's not do power of sale, let's not do the sheriff thing. We've got the property for sale. Let's give us some time. And usually they will in these cases. So just communicate best you can, right? Interest rates going up. It was funny that has anybody checked the stock market recently?
That went up. That went up.
Stock market's gone up. Since they increased the rate, the overnight rate to 5%, and actually went up that day. It went up almost 1% that day that they announced it. And it's actually, the day announced, went up to 20,070. And I checked it this morning. Right now it's 20,600. It's up about 8% this morning. So the rest of the world thinks that interest rates increases is not a bad idea. So we should not.
Not go for the public.
Let's not be, think it's all bad news. Right? Obviously the rest of the economy thinks it's okay. And they announced the inflation, and since we last talked, they brought it down to, was it 2.8%? So that was pretty good. So 2.8% from 8% when they started all this stuff here. So it's still not what they want. They still want to get it down to 2%, but 2.8 is pretty good, right? Mhm.
Forget it.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, so that's fine. So the interest rates are okay. Shorter fixed rate mortgage take the spotlights as borrowers feel the pinch of higher mortgage rates. So what we're telling everybody, if you want your opinion or second opinion, what kind of mortgage do they take? Everybody's taking fixed rate mortgages at 2-year, 3-year. That's the flavor right now that people are doing. That's what people have been recommending. And just again, for rule of thumb, those people that remember, for every quarter point on $100,000 mortgage, it's up about $15 per month. payments. Just a rule of thumb. So if the guy's got $1 million mortgage, it went up a quarter point, his increase would have been $150. So it sounds like a big amount, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. I know the Canadians will not give up their houses that easily. They will not do power sale that easily. They'll try to hang on as long as they can. Aaron, so your clients themselves, were they aware that this is all coming down, or? And did they tell you about it, or?
I saw like, yeah, two private loans, CRA debt. I was like, okay, I got this, but then once like interest rates started going up, and the market started cooling, I was like.
And was this a vacation property for him or his principal residence? Did he lose his job or something too, or?
Said it'd be bad. Well, Friday.
About a cryptocurrency?
No pressure. Where's it gonna go? I don't even know where it is. Well, that's fast. I'll get it there.
Oh, no.
The lender's still gonna let her sell it, but it's not sellable.
I told her to stay on. So don't say that. I'm like, not. It must be on the interior. Can't sell. It's been up for like a year. I don't run and I'm telling you, like no showing, no offers in a year. And it's just beautiful. Okay. If they had tomorrow.
Oh, gosh.
Available.
What's the address?
Hmm.
Oh, that does look nice. Huh?
Going back to Trev for a little bit here, so we just remind you that the Barry board is now voted and now they're part of our board. So anybody that's doing any join the other boards for access to the Simcoe listings, or Simcoe listings are there now. And they're running around almost 3,000 listings. So when you say that the listings are, or the active listings are 16,000, we're not counting Simcoe.
Oh, okay.
So if you add Simcoe, another 3,000, so you're up to almost 20,000 if you add those. But it's different. And the Peterborough board is going to vote on that one. Katelyn, when you said they're doing their vote next month? Peterborough is going to vote to join the Durham. I think it's in August. 15th of August. Anyway, so it looks like the Peterborough board will also be joining Stratus and Realm when they decide to do that. So now you've got Quinty board. We're going to have Peterborough. We're going to have Barry. So that's quite a few. So I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys join the ITSO, so you get access to those boards. Maybe you don't need to do that again. So that'll be coming soon. So that's good. Is everybody okay with DigiSign? I know a lot of people did sign up for the AuthentiSign. They didn't want to relearn a new program, which is fine.
Our office account was okay, but the Trev was frozen.
Trev is frozen for which program? For DigiSign? Yeah. Okay. These things they're not magic. I mean, they're all human, right? They're all, every program's got something, but DigiSign itself, I thought it's pretty simple. It's very, very simple to use. I find it the same as AuthentiSign. But does anybody else have any issues at all with the SkySlope DigiSign? Anybody else? No, nothing. And then Realm, they're going to change. Realm is February. You notice now they have a little countdown ticker going on there. They got so many days, so many days, so many days. We all know what's going to happen, right? Right. You know my old story when Hong Kong, but years ago, Hong Kong was British ruled for 99-year lease. You've heard this story 100 times. 99-year lease, and then they went back to mainland China after the lease was over. So all the Hong Kongers had to get British papers. They want to get British papers to keep their citizenship, whatever it might be there. So I think 2 days before the final day, there was a lineup something like 3 kilometers long. People lined up to get this paper here, and I'm thinking to myself, gee, they only had 99 years to figure this out. Right. So I know it's going to happen with Realm, the same thing, right? Everybody's going to wait till the last day. That's human nature anyway, right? Return the vendor take back mortgage. We talked about that a little bit there, but has anybody considered that? So I'm not sure we're in that territory just yet. But just to tell you what we did, and I'm not sure if you got anybody to do it or not, you couldn't find anybody yet, right? So it's a lost art that maybe will resurrect somehow. But you may have situations where you've got an old seller that has no mortgage. Old seller meaning they've been in the house for a long time and they don't have any mortgage, and maybe they want to take back a mortgage on their house. So maybe, rather than them being the private lenders, or maybe they can hold the mortgage itself, but they're saying there's more and more VTBs across Canada that are happening. You better take back mortgages. There's more and more happening. It's not a hard thing to do. Just talk to me if you got a situation that might be in that case. Dre and I talked about this a couple of months ago. We haven't found anybody to do it yet, but what would happen? We'd have our vendor take a mortgage, and then we would take it to the mortgage broker, and the mortgage broker would sell it to a private lender or themselves. They would discount it a couple $1,000, and then they would buy the VTB mortgage. So we may have private lenders. This might still be better, but maybe it's not high enough. Maybe I don't know.
The institutional lender, you want to be the first step. So it has to be
Be a first, yeah, VTB first. So VTB first, and to be able to sell it. Now, I don't know, we're getting there anyway. So if nothing else, your client can pay down payments if you get a tough place there. But we'll have to talk about strategy later on. That's a little too heavy for that right now.
That's what we used to do, is pay down the mortgage.
This is a funny thing here. There's more homes, builders' homes, brand new builder homes, Mattamy in particular, that keep on burning down. They can't figure out why. This particular in this particular site, people are protesting Mattamy because Mattamy has like a phase 1, phase 2. They sold out phase 1 for these high prices. Phase 2, they couldn't get the prices, so they reduced the price for the same house. So all the phase 1 guys had a protest going on and saying, this isn't fair. You got to help us. You can't be, we're competing. We can't do this, can't do that. 2 months later, all of a sudden there's fires going on. Like, they can't, and the firefighters said, this is peculiar. All right. Things are happening out there that, and I just told you my experience here, and they're saying here the Toronto condo rents soar to an average just under $3,000 a month. Even the micro apartments are going for $2,100. Micros are like the 400 square foot studios. This just seems crazy, doesn't it? Everything else, right? And in just 1 month, an income required to buy an average home in Toronto jumped by $7,000. That's a crazy one, where they say that somebody's got 20% down where they have to qualify for an average mortgage. They're saying that because prices went up, the people have to earn $7,000 more. Luxury home sales, Toronto, they've in the $4 million plus range. Those sales are down 34%. So in the luxury end of the market, things have slowed down quite a bit. So I'm also told that cottage country has slowed down quite a bit. Like cottages themselves are down. 4.4, 3.7. Wow. No, too much. Canadian inflation rate falls below 3%. So we talked about that. It's 2.8%. But part of the problem there too, and I talked about this before, part of the bundles of goods is mortgages. So if the mortgages interest rates goes higher, then it's obviously going to increase the cost of living, right? So it's sort of like, obviously it's gone up because this is happening here. But the reason why it went down, they're saying, is because of gas prices. Gas prices dropped in the last month. Anybody notice that? I've seen a couple of heads here and there. So, but food themselves has not gone down, right? So food itself is still up. So they're still trying to knock that down. Mortgage interest costs, one of the sectors most directly affected by rising interest rates, was the biggest contributor to inflation in June. That's what I'm just saying here. So it's like if they increase the rates, it's going to increase the inflation. I don't know how they figure that out. I don't know. It's too strange. The Ontario government is telling everybody that we have to build 1.5 million homes in the next 10 years. Is that what they're saying? Or is that across Canada? Everybody remembers? It's all across Canada, right? Yeah. So Ontario government is coming up with 10-year strategies, and they've given each city a target to be able to achieve their goals. So they've given each city a target, what they want, and then they've said how many people have done it. So Ajax in particular, they've got a target of 142 new units in May. Unfortunately, they had 0 starts in Ajax, therefore they're actually down 28%. So it's not quite there yet. City of Toronto, their target is 2,300. They've actually had 2,900 starts, so actually 24% ahead. That's got to do with condominiums. So many condominiums are starting to come online there. That's what they're building there. So that's happening in that case. Pickering itself is about 83%, Oshawa 50%, Clarington 26% of the target, Newmarket 17%, Oakville 13%. So outside of City of Toronto, where there's no condos particularly, they're not doing a very good job at all. So see what Mr. Ford does. And the population's gone up, what, to 40 million people? I don't like this chart here, but they're saying here that they're blaming that the average prices have increased because of the population growth. Does that make any sense? Eh? They're saying that they did this chart. Here it is. Here's the chart. And they said, okay, the population has gone to $40 million. At the same time, so their prices. So they're suggesting that population is the reason why the prices have increased in prices. I don't believe that. I think it's interest rates. I think interest rates is the only reason why prices have increased, right? Not population.
Good.
I'm gonna finish early. I'm gonna finish real early. I have so much stuff there I want to talk about, but I don't. Anybody have any properties they want to talk about? Any listings they want to talk about? So your economy, they're getting their, is it, they're getting it ready for prep right now? Like they're getting it ready to list, or are they moving someplace? What are they doing? They're investors. So they want to cash out. I'm curious about this. So okay. It's leased out right now. Property is leased or not leased? It's gonna be vacant. All right, so that's kind of curious. So you got investors that want to cash out if they get the right price. Because that's normal too.
In regards to Mansfield.
Yep.
So in case of upgrading, that's significant. It's really, really good right now. So we are reducing the price now to 690. I tried 5999. I believe the bank can really go to that far, right? So I'm going to take this to be on MLS.
It's on Mance, right?
Yeah, inventory. Let me know. Say MLS.
So we got on one. Should I ask him about colleges? Does anybody have any colleges going on here? Does anybody have any insight about colleges? I mean, they're talking about college prices going down. Does anybody know that firsthand? $600,000 for that?
condo and or 469, that maybe 25 all inclusive. For anyone who's, you know, been down there, 35%. Okay, 35%. Don't think. Give someone, you know, buy it out. It's nice, cheap. Condo server, it is.
So Aaron's got a co-op there in Scarborough for what'd you say, 450, 469?
Beautiful, like fully renovated, or great new walls.
So that'd be nice for somebody that's retired, is cashing out and wants to pay cash for a co-op, and the way you go. You have
When to
to,
take back.
or credit units. Okay, and then two more things then finally, we've got your, we spent the spring last year doing the Mox work stuff and that, and if you've got, I started talking about if you're gonna take time off, take time off, if you're gonna work, right? So if you're thinking, well, I want to work, but I'm not that busy, but I don't want to do vacation either, then maybe it's time to get back into your Moxie works and see what you're doing there. I went to it again yesterday and just make sure that we've got the, it's on the Google Drive as far, well, no, it's on the YouTube, right?
I also just sent the.
All right, so sticking with the Moxworks there, so we've got a whole library there of things to do, like how to set up your CMA, how to set up a buyer's tour, how to set up your drip campaigns, how to enter your contacts, how to enter your contacts on Castle. All those things are on the C21 Fulton agent training, or you can also access it through the Google Drive as well. When you go to Google Drive, the heading would be C21 Fulton agents, and you'll be able to see all the folders there as well. But you might want to just make sure that, again, if you've got that time to do it and go back to Moxie Works, get that list going. Your realm will be starting in February, and a lot of people are starting to play with it now. So same thing on realm. We've got on that realm training, we've gone there, it's called set up your files, and we've got about 14 things going on there. Is that in that that's in the drive as well? Sent that out. Okay, so this is all the newsletters, so on and so forth. It's just a little 14-point little chapters, 12 chapters on how to use your realm. It's a good little starting point. Look at that. How many people on your Stratus are using your prospect searches? This is gotta be the biggest one. Prospect searches. How many use the contacts? Anybody use contacts in Stratus?
Yeah, I do.
So just remember, come February, that's going to disappear. So you might want to look at the contacts themselves, not prospect searches, but contacts,
Yeah, okay.
and make sure you got them in some type of database that you can convert them over later. Sorry. I wouldn't count on carrying over, but you can go to your contacts and you can export them really easy, put them in a CS file, keep them someplace secret, someplace, and then if you can convert it automatically, that's fine. If you can't, at least you have the database. All right, and it's not that hard to do. You just have to select. Huh? Yeah, like if you upload them early and then they transfer them over and then you transfer them and they're going to double up, they should double up, but the programs nowadays should be sophisticated enough where they should merge duplicates. Right, I hopefully that it's sophisticated enough to be able to do that. And what I want you particularly practice is your prospect search in Realm. So it's completely different. So you have to you create a search that you like for a client, let's say, then you save that search for the client. Then you've got to go in and you've got to set up the client so we can receive those messages. It's called push, right? And on the thing, it's called a push on there. So it pushes to your client, and your client can actually create an account, they can actually go back in and they can change the criteria, just like collaborate. And these little things, but you need to practice with yourself so you understand it, what's going on, so when you send it to your clients. But if you're setting prospect matches right now, prospect searches is completely different, so you need to practice that.
She was like, my sister clients, how to navigate it so much, but then when they learn it, it's like the best thing ever.
And that's on Realm. So you're doing that now?
Yeah.
Good for you.
From the stuff that they cite down,
So on,
just acted.
yeah, I think there's a start date, I think it was the 12th. Anyways, but if you have Realm on your app, on your phone, it now has facial ID, so you don't have to be putting in your Clarity anymore. Right? Yeah, they just started that now. So there's all this new technologies coming on there, right? So somebody was talking to me this morning about AI, how AI is going to replace agents. That's what the consumer said to our agent. What do you guys think?
Well,
Impossible.
That's gonna show you.
sales is a motion. I can see taking over like the.
So, and just so you know, there's an article in the paper that you may read it yourself. There's a company out there, a new company out there. Here we go. So it's a new flavor. It's gonna disrupt. It's a new disruptor. Actually, there's two new disruptors out there. So what these companies do, they have AI, and the client would go to AI, and the AI is going to search for them. They're going to put in their criteria, what they want. I don't fully understand how AI is any different than what we're doing now. But the whole idea is that the client gets this AI experience, and when he's finally ready to buy a property, they get a hold of this company, and the company assigns one of their agents to them, and the agent goes out there, shows them property, and sells them a house. The agent is getting paid by the hour by the broker, and the broker will pay these people half the commission back or something. Yeah, so like yeah, they're charging 1% and they're paying 1.5% back to the buyer. Good luck, right?
I can see it taking over. I was reading that they could type in what they're looking for, and some AI tool will just send them with.
This is what they're doing. This is what I'm talking about. The AI, yeah, the AI, they put in what they want, and the AI gives them what they want. We're doing that already. So I've seen so many these people come and go. There's just not enough money in it for a broker to be able doing that. So it's just doesn't work. And agents want to get paid commission, not paid by the hour. So I can't see it working. And another company in BC, what they're trying, another disruptor, they've said, okay, pay me up front, don't pay me commission. So in other words, pay me $3,200 or pay me $6,000, whatever package you want to get. And you pay it up front, it's a retainer. And whether you buy a property through me or not, I don't care. But when you buy a property through me, I don't charge you any commission. Because you already paid me my $6,000.
Like shoppers don't ever ask to buy.
It'd be good for the agent that just wants the $6,000 and doesn't do anything. Right? And I can see trouble all over in that one there, but they come and they go and they're all going. We saw our first brokerage. I'm surprised. We saw our first brokerage in Mississauga that was shut down by Rico for taking money out of the trust account. H&H Homes out of Mississauga. I've never heard of them. They're quite large. They had about 80 agents, so they're quite large. 80. Yeah. So that's the first time, and I've seen that before, and I'm surprised there's not more. There'll be more coming in the future. As far as you guys are concerned, and as far as the consumer is concerned, you're all covered with insurance. So your commission is covered by your RICO insurance. That's why I said that $500 is the best investment. Your insurance is covered sorry, commission is covered by insurance, and the consumer's deposit is also covered by insurance. So it's not a big deal, but because of these insurance policy, but it's a good policy that we have. Good. Anything else? Next Friday is a long weekend. No, next weekend's a long weekend. Is it a Monday or the Friday? It's the Monday, so no meeting next week. 2 weeks. So that's what I thought, because is it next week or the week after?
On the 7th.
There's son is a school. Probably they, 4 schools a day.
So I don't know. So the long weekend's on it's not on the 31st, it's on the 7th. All right, never mind. Nelson's away for 2 weeks. Why?
Because he has a life.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Buyers, sellers? No, going. Okay, all right, folks, thanks a lot. Gone.